I don't like it.
You don't have to like it, Sarah. You just have to follow orders.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for noteworthy video games that were banned in one or more countries, even if the ban was eventually lifted.
I can tell this is going to be an interesting day.
Number 20, Dead Space, banned in Japan.
Isaac, we can't stay here much longer. Hearing a lot of movement.
Although the original Dead Space was said to have been banned in several countries, that turned out to be a marketing stunt. However, the same can't be said for its remake. With exceptionally grisly violence, mostly involving dismemberment, Japan's rating board refused to classify it. No rating means it couldn't be sold, effectively a ban. Instead of adhering to the country's extreme censorship protocols, like Capcom has for several Resident Evil games, Dead Space simply wasn't released there. This refusal would later be criticized by EA Japan's Sean Noguchi, who expressed his frustration when Stellar Blade, which also features dismemberment, was rated and allowed to release there.
Even the captain? God.
Number 19, Carmageddon, banned in Brazil and Argentina. The first entry in this vehicular combat series made some big waves when it was released, mostly because some of your objectives involved taking the lives of innocent civilians. In the UK, pedestrians were replaced with green-blooded zombies, and in Germany, they were made to be robots with oil replacing the blood. However, not every country was open to censoring the material. Carmageddon was outright banned in Brazil, as well as in the capital city of Argentina, Buenos Aires. For the latter, the game served as the origin for a law prohibiting the sale of games that used vehicles, quote, towards the destruction of people. Number 18, Animal Crossing: New Horizons, banned in China. Animal Crossing is as family-friendly as it gets, yet the way in which some players used New Horizons caused it to be removed from sale in China. At the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, protesters saw it as a way to continue their work virtually, designing assets to criticize the country and call for a free Hong Kong. As the game was brand new at the time, and since China is very strict about which games release there, it had not yet seen an official Chinese release. Instead, players purchased foreign imports through online markets. However, the game was removed from sale, seemingly in response to the online protests. While not a traditional ban, it's an interesting case. Number 17, Mark Echo's Getting Up, Contents Under Pressure, banned in Australia.
Now that's how to get up.
This action-adventure game is more or less forgotten by most players these days, but it's at the heart of one of the stranger reasons behind banning a game. You play as a graffiti artist using art to fight back against a tyrannical government. However, that message was seemingly lost on the majority of Australia's ratings board, who refused to rate the game, which essentially banned it from release. The board claimed that it not only promoted illegal graffiti, but provided instruction on how to partake in it. The game's writer, Mark Echo himself, expressed his disappointment since another series focusing on graffiti, Sega's Jet Set Radio, was rated and released in Australia without any issue.
Hey, Gabe, you gonna let him serve you like that?
Number 16, Fallout 3, Various.
How can you be so rude when I'm going to provide you such a useful public...
Bethesda encountered a lot of problems during the release of Fallout 3. Australia originally refused to rate it, claiming the depiction of morphine use as both realistic and rewarding. And so, the studio changed the drug's name to secure a release. The game's violence was also heavily censored in Germany. And in Japan, a sequence involving a nuclear warhead was altered so that it could not be detonated to respect the tragic history of Hiroshima. Similarly, the Fat Man grenade launcher had its name changed since it shares a name with the bomb that was dropped on Nagasaki. A ban did stick in one location, however, India. This was due to cultural sensitivities speculated to stem from the mutated Brahmin cattle, which could be seen as offensive to Hindus. Number 15, Command & Conquer Generals, banned in China.
Moving all units, fire!
China's tech division. Right.
They're attacking our base!
Historically, if a game paints China in a negative light, that's almost a guarantee it won't be released there. China is one of the factions in this entry of the Command & Conquer series, but the country didn't take too kindly to how it or its army was depicted. While the country and government weren't necessarily criticized in-game, it did showcase the army's failure to stop attacks on its land. Specifically, the Chinese portion of the campaign begins with a terrorist attack on Beijing, and during the ensuing conflict, other landmarks are lost, the Three Gorges Dam, and the Hong Kong Convention Center. The game was accused of, quote, smearing the image of China and the Chinese army, and was swiftly banned. Number 14. Wolfenstein 3D, banned in Germany. Many more recent games in the Wolfenstein series have had to undergo severe censorship in order to release in Germany. Understandably, the country is very strict about what can or cannot show Nazi imagery, no matter how anti-Nazi the actual product is. However, for 1992's Wolfenstein 3D, these censorship measures were not in place. Swastikas are plastered over every level, and you fight against platoons of Nazi soldiers, leading to a now iconic battle against Hitler inside a mechanized suit. Because of this, the game was banned from releasing in Germany, along with its Spear of Destiny expansion that was launched a few months later. Number 13. Danganronpa V3, Killing Harmony, banned in South Korea.
Damn.
Following a group of high school students trapped in a twisted game where they're forced to kill others, to say that Danganronpa V3 is dark might be a bit of an understatement. It isn't overly violent to force censorship like in other cases, but South Korea deemed it crossed the line. While other games in the series have been released in the country with an adults-only rating, this entry was refused a rating on concerns that it would incite copycat behavior. Some speculated it was due to a recent crime in which a 17-year-old took the life of an 8-year-old. Since there was seemingly no way to censor the content to secure a release, Sony chose not to pursue one.
No, that's wrong.
Number 12. Plague Inc., banned in China. Released in 2012 and updated numerous times over the years, Plague Inc. was banned in China until early 2020. The mobile game, in which players strategically create and spread a plague from a patient zero, had previously been available on the App Store. However, the Cyberspace Administration of China sought its removal, claiming it had illegal content. What exact content was illegal was unclear to developer Endemic Creations. While some speculated it was due to a fake news update that had yet to launch in the Chinese version, we were never given a more definitive answer. Regardless, banning a game that previously performed very well in China, particularly at the time due to the onset of COVID-19, was seen as strange to many players. Number 11. Postal 2, Various.
Moneyline forms that way, infidel!
Any game that gives players the freedom to be viciously violent is bound to ruffle a few feathers. Postal 2 is a prime example, featuring plenty of acts that, while optional, could be seen as cruel. As such, it has been banned in multiple countries at different points in time. In Uzbekistan, it was one of the 34 games that were banned in 2017 out of a belief that they threatened societal values. The game's content also saw it banned in Australia, New Zealand, Malaysia, and briefly, Sweden. In Germany, while it isn't illegal, it is banned for sale on Steam. Since Postal 2 comes with the options of mass violence and animal cruelty, the controversy isn't exactly surprising. Number 10. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2, banned in Mexico.
Which is simply an excuse for the Americans to take control of our foreign policy, not only in Mexico, but across Latin America.
This tactical shooter welcomes you to Mexico in a pretty intense way. Pitting the player in a do-or-die battle with insurgents along the US-Mexico border, the landscape is chock full of real-life locations in towns like Juarez, Mexico, and El Paso, Texas. Finding the violent narco-terrorism-driven storyline mixed with images of the American military engaged in combat on Mexican soil, it did not take long for the Mexican government to declare Advanced Warfighter 2 an unsavory depiction of their country and a threat to Juarez's tourist industry. Both the mayor of Juarez and the governor of the Mexican state of Chihuahua banned the, quote, insulting game from touching Mexican soil. Number 9. Homefront, banned in South Korea.
Yeah, I can get you in, but you have to stick close and do exactly like I say. Follow me.
This somewhat underwhelming 2011 first-person shooter took liberties with current global conflicts in showing a unified Korea under real-life dictator Kim Jong-un. The only problem was that nobody asked South Korea if they were okay with depicting North and South Korea as one country. Considering the global tensions already in place with North Korea entering the nuclear arms race, South Korea's outraged reaction might not have seemed all that alarming.
한민족을 갖고 올 것이며 경제와 산업의 발전을 갖고 올 것입니다.
Needless to say, while the video game went on to receive generally favorable reviews around the world, it never saw the light of day in South Korea.
Stick together, okay? We gotta watch each other's backs.
Number 8. Football Manager 2005, banned in China. some video game news is worthy of a double-take reaction. The gaming world surely got to experience this when this Sega-produced sports business simulator was banned in China for political reasons. By stating that Tibet and Taiwan were independent countries outside of the Chinese Republic, China responded claiming the game, quote, posed harm to the country's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Although the developers quickly resolved the problem for Chinese release, this little blip of video game history was highly talked about as it was one of those rare games banned for reasons beyond violence or sexual content. Number 7. Grand Theft Auto franchise. Various.
Oh, I was just taking my friend back into town. Another time, Ricardo.
Ricardo, let's
get out of here.
No stranger to controversy, this flagship franchise from Rockstar Games has been fighting the censors with almost every installation since the 1997 top-down shooter days. I mean, it is called Grand Theft Auto. Featuring extreme violence, crude humor, and amoral storylines, it seems like almost every GTA title has been met with public backlash. The most popular example came with 2004's GTA San Andreas and its Hot Coffee mod, a playable sex minigame made available via a PC hack into the game's code. This mod led not only to a countrywide ban in Australia, but also a US retailer ban in major department stores after securing an AO rating, which stands for adults only. Needless to say, the game was even more sought after.
You want coffee, baby?
Number 6. EA Sports MMA. Banned in Denmark. Corporate sponsorship is not always a good thing when it comes to the video gaming industry. This was made apparent in 2010, when Denmark famously banned this sports fighting title for promoting energy drinks such as Monster and Red Bull. A Scandinavian law forbids marketing for such drinks. While this might not be controversial in its own right, EA flat out cancelled the release of EA Sports MMA in Denmark, claiming that changing the sponsored content into something else would ruin the authenticity of the UFC experience for fans, leaving Danish gamers who wanted to ground and pound famous MMA stars hardly any options to find the game.
Stop, guys, break it up!
Number 5. Battlefield 3 and 4. Banned in Iran and China. Can a video game be considered a threat to national security? Turns out, it can. The Battlefield franchise, known for its multiplayer arenas featuring true-to-life combat scenarios bringing online communities together, has steadily been churning out releases since 2002. However, the home console modern combat installations of Battlefield 3 and 4 were met with heavy backlash in both Iran and China respectively for depictions of their countries under attack and ultimately conquered by enemy forces, leading to tactical warfare battle zones on their home soil. Much like Homefront, these games' threats to national security kept Iran and China's governments rallying to keep these games off their shelves. Number 4. The Guy Game. Banned in the United States of America.
Best play-by-play, we have Steve and his partner Dick keeping you abreast of all of the on-screen action.
Sexual content in video games has always been a touchy subject in the gaming world, and America got a wake-up call when this sleazy trivia game hit the shelves.
It's the bonus score that actually fuels the movement of the flashometer.
Fill up the flashometer and see more skin.
4 months after the unfavorably reviewed title was released, one of the game's models filed a lawsuit against top-heavy studios, Sony, and Microsoft, claiming that she was underage when the footage of her was shot. This led to the game being recalled and landed top-heavy studios in serious hot water. It's very rare for a video game to be banned in the US because of the country's First Amendment, but it can happen, and the heat surrounding the lawsuit eventually led to Top Heavy being shut down.
Going away. Stand on your mark. Are you ready? 1. You show your moves. 1, 2.
Number 3. Mortal Kombat series. Various.
Sub-Zero. Win.
You must know you have a landmark title when Congress tries to shut you down. Since its debut in the arcades in 1992, the Mortal Kombat franchise has been watchdogged and hounded for its graphic violent content and demonic imagery. While the US government deemed the original trilogy of games a threat to society, paving the way for a video game's rating system, countries like Australia, Germany, and South Korea have banned some of the more recent installments of this popular franchise for reasons ranging from graphic violence to sheer cruelty. While some systems like the SNES toned down the blood and gore, Ed Boon and John Tobias' love child still maintains its creative, fatality-driven fighting franchise decades later.
Sub-Zero. Win.
Number 2. Pokemon series. Banned in Saudi Arabia. Cute and cuddly, but also threatening, the global phenomenon that is Pokemon has not always had a perfect track record outside of Japan and the Western world. Since its inception, the religious conservative Islamic country has banned various games in this series on religious grounds. These range from the mini-games that promote gambling, which is forbidden in the country, to promoting evolution and using symbols of other religions. There were also claims that the country issued a fatwa against Pokemon Go, and while this was proven to be false, Niantic still made the app unavailable in the country for some time, despite it being available in other Middle Eastern nations. More recently, Niantic, the company behind Pokemon Go, was sold to Scopely, a developer and game publisher owned by the Saudi government. Talk about a complete 360. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Manhunt 2. Various. You all saw this coming, or did you? Another Rockstar upstart, the Manhunt series has had a rocky relationship with the public from the start. Depicting bad people doing bad things, the games have been openly discussed for their graphic violence and snuff-inspired killings. While the first Manhunt was banned in some countries like Australia and New Zealand, the sequel had it even worse due to the amped-up violence and lack of redeemable characters. While censored versions of Manhunt 2 exist, uncensored adults-only rated copies of Manhunt 2 are very hard to come by legally, as they have been removed from online services such as Steam and Gamefly. Do you know of any other crazy examples of video games getting banned? Let us know about them in the comments.